set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
Good evening, AKAPADers. It's the weekend, and you guys know the drill. It's documentary time. Hang out with me. Let's expand our knowledge, what we understand, what we know about things, and along the way, scratch and claw for insight, for something special to dig out of some of these subjects. Because we have a doozy today. I've been saying that a lot. And welcome back to the show of shows. I am Peter A. DeLuca, aka Pad the Film Buff. We are coming to you from Philadelphia, PA, 1,100 episodes deep. Guys, we love movies. We talk about movies, high and low. And I'm committed to bring you every single movie I have ever seen. Yes, it's a life mission. So there's a there's a Reddit thread, and the headline for the Reddit thread, or the subject, is, does anyone like the documentary? So I even know the documentary hit, and I knew it did hit when on TikTok it got clipped. And what got clipped? Everyone talking about the no demigorgons, no demi-bats, no new creatures or whatever in Dimension X or the Abyss. They should have just called it Dimension X. The possible AI plugin that they're using, which I mean, you know, that's a little bit overblown. The launch, the initial comment, the big takeaway initially from the first couple minutes is we are going into production without a final script for the final episode. And then a couple other moments where people are like, look, haha, they didn't know what they were doing and they still did it. So part of this documentary came of this. I just have to say, I think the internet's right on this one. I don't think it's toxic fandom. I don't think it's people screaming at the clouds or being too needy, or expectations kind of, not being appropriate. People wanted a certain type of feeling, ending. They wanted a certain level of resolution with Stranger Things. And I think a part of it too was, like the satisfying part of that last episode was the epilogue, right? I think the epilogue nailed it. It's the fight against Vecna. It's the consequences that came after. It's just that stuff. And no one liked it. They just didn't like it. It just was maybe too fast. All these things. But that's not what this documentary is about. And that's where we have to separate it. Look, we all want things in this world, kiddos. We don't get what we want. When it comes to movies and content, I get it. It's hard to understand how people can be individuals. And I think that this documentary lends itself so much to that final episode where there's much debate. Everything is discussed. See, if they had this documentary and no one talks about some of the gripes of the final episode, see, if that never comes up in the doc, then you have to say, well, are these people, like, what are they doing? Does this stuff not come up in conversation? But when you see it come up in conversation, it's very similar to a sports play. And guys, like we're getting into championship weekend here for the NFL. No Eagles, no Birds, too, by the way. No Eagles, no Birds, no Bills, no Buffaloes. So we watch sports, and we see it. We see something happen, and we know someone made a decision to make a call, to run a play, to go for a wide receiver or a tight end coming up through the flat, right. And it doesn't happen. And then maybe the defender is in a perfect spot to defend it. And you just say, why would they call that? The guy's right there. And it's like, no, like that's even how the play unfolds on the field. And what happens is we get some of these like sports commentators along the way, and they just dumb it down even further, and they kind of play into it. See, in football, you might have 3 seconds to run a play, to run a release, because, well, you're getting pressured as a quarterback, and you're going to get tackled. And you may have a small window of 3 seconds to get a ball in a particular place. And a lot of times for a quarterback, the guy has to be there. And you can make an adjustment. Like, you're putting that ball there no matter what. But hopefully, with the OC, offensive coordinator, the head coach, the quarterback, and all the guys on the field, like, everyone understands, like, what these other elements that need to happen for that opportunity to be there at that time. And everyone hopes that they're making the right call, because this could be big. This could be a play. This could be a first down. We could get 30 yards. We could get just closer to the end zone. But we see it on the field, and it doesn't happen that way. And then the commentators dogpile it, and really strip away the real conversation, which is, a miracle happens sometimes. Sometimes miracles happen on the field, and it's hard to explain, especially when you're emotionally attached. And I feel like there's some of that here, where we see the creative process, we see the production, we see the intent of what they're doing, and it's on full display, and it's on full display as a giant cultural impact. And we get to see what a modern day production looks like, and how much of it is done in post, and how much of it is done in front of your face, and how involved these two brothers are, and like some of the Sean Levy stuff in here is just fantastic. And sketch out what it's like to get this thing in front of my eyes. How much work, how much money does it take to get this thing in front of my eyes? And there's a part of the audience that wants to sit down, and they want answers. They want things explained, and they don't understand that every single performer, actor, actress, when they talk about inspirations for this stuff and source material, and they talk about their likes and dislikes, they don't understand how much of it is fed through a PR layer, fed back to them. And that's where, like, if you line up all the press junkets and all the things people have said about their inspiration for doing something, it's all low-level platitude stuff. And if you talk to any actor or actress about the character they're portraying, what exactly are you getting? And you never get real full answers. And no one calls that out. No, like, when someone's like, what's it like being Loki? And it's like, wow, I went to the comics and I saw this character, what he was on the page, and what you hear this one so much, what he meant to people. I got to see what he meant to people. It's like what? What? How about this? What version of Loki did you get for the source material? Let me guess. The studio just put it together for you and put it in front of your face. The PR people and the marketing people knew you would get this question, and they prepped you on it. That's not what we have here. We get some of it, but I really feel like we get a little bit closer to the Duffer Brothers here. And isn't that the intent, to just to get a little bit closer to the creators of something? It's not about the final episode. It's not about the disappointment. It's about understanding the talent that is a part of these shows, and the storm and the chaos that they have to control to get it done, to be on budget, to be on time, to deal with all of the personalities, and along the way, the insane fan expectations. I was a little bit pleased that these two guys seem a little bit normal still. They're not like psychopaths with all the attention Stranger Things gets. So, AKAPADers, that's my takeaway. One last adventure, the making of Stranger Things Season 5.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production, take 2.
Let's take this time real quick, aka Padders, my fellow film buffers, and let's just go over the schedule. This is years in the making. This type of rollout I've been planning for years, but we're finally here. So here we go. Early in the morning, that's the new stuff. 8 a.m. Now, 8 p.m., Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, these are movies maybe of something coming out, like if there's a Marvel movie coming out and we want to do a retrospective on that particular franchise, or if Sylvester Stallone comes back and gives us Rocky Part 18, we might want to use the later time slots for a week or two to go over all of the Rocky movies. Now, we have a lot of different threads on this podcast that's explored 8 p.m. So 8 a.m., 8 p.m. Wednesdays at 8 p.m., this is our creator spotlight. We could do an episode on Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, some of the new guys, Spike Lee, even composers, guys like John Williams. This brings us into the weekend. Saturday, Sunday morning. Again, we're back at that 8 a.m. drop. We do cartoons because I want to emulate the times where you would wake up with a bowl of cereal and watch cartoons all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and then eventually you would get to touch grass because you would have one of your friends knocking on your door to play in a touch football game or even some baseball, basketball. The weekend nights, let's get into education. 8 p.m. Again, all of our drops are either 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. But the weekend nights, documentaries, and I focus on creative documentaries because I feel like a part of this film buff movement that we're all bathing in, that I'm super grateful for, is education. And some of where we're finding our facts, some of the, general enjoyment, because I love documentaries. All of this is explored at 8 o'clock p.m. And trust me, there's a lot there. There's a lot out there that I didn't even know existed. And we're going to go beyond that too. We're going to get into some of the graphic art, some of the special effects, some of the makeup documentaries. There's a lot to learn, and I'm so happy to bring you the 9 p.m. because, you guys know, I'm an autodidact. I am self-educated. Sure, I have some certifications. Sure, I spent time at the Art Institute of Philadelphia for animation. But in large, I'm a self-educated, self-made person that's connected to the weekend 8 p.m. drops. My AKA Padders, my film buffers, I hope to see you there for all of it. I love you guys, and rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap. Okay, that's a wrap.